Hello, 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 Curvies. Curvies! What day is it? What day is it? Hump day? It's hump day, people. I love hump day. I love all the days I wake up, actually. Did you guys know that? Your girl's easy. Your girl is easy. I am easy. I am easy, y'all. I'm an easy date. If I wake up, I'm happy. I talk to you, I'm happy. I look up, I'm happy. You know what I'm saying? Happy is a bona fide choice. You can either do it or you can't. You know what I'm saying? At least for some. Some people, depression does have such a grip on their soul, on their mind, on their being, that they can't even fathom something that could bring them out of it, yet happy remains a choice. You know what I'm saying? You can literally, if you're in the middle of a fight, you can decide, I'm done with this, instead of continuing to fight. And once you are done with it, you can walk away. And once you walk away, you can realign your chakras. You know what I'm saying? So happy is a choice, okay? And I'm happy that y'all are here today, here in LRGA Curves. Thanks for coming through. Smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, because you know I love smashing. And be sure you ring my bell so you can get notified next time I upload a video, and so you can become part of this beautiful curvy community that we're growing in the YouTube streets. You guys know what? Thank you so much. We got to freaking the goal that we just surpassed, which was 2,000 subscribers on LRGA Curves. We have a 2K community, you guys. We have a 2K community. Instead of Y2K, we got C2K. Curvies 2K over here. C2K. Yes. C2K. Yes. Let's do a hashtag C2K. Hashtag C2K, you guys. The Juice Radio and Talk Show is in my freaking house. You guys know what? So I had put this on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram at LRGA Curves, LRGA Curves. And you can follow me over there. And I call myself doing my little marketing and everything, right? And getting the word out, you know, because I'll talk to myself, but I love talking to y'all more. And plus, we're going to get your guys' thoughts on this whole TikTok ban. So anyway, I'm over there doing what I think is great, right? I'm like, okay, I got my thumbnail, I got the link, I set it to 2, and Juice contacted me and she said, so what day and time? She said, so what day, and what time is that Eastern time? I'm on now? So, okay, I'm happy, but I need to pay attention to details too, is the moral of the story right there. Can y'all hear me okay? I'm in a different position today. I am, can you guys hear me okay? I hope you guys don't have any trouble hearing me at all. So shout out to Juice Radio and Talk Show for being my note to self on when I do decide to put where I'm going to be, to make sure I put the date and time. Even I'm the one that knows it's 2 p.m. right now. So me putting 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on my stories on Instagram, where it's going to be there for 24 hours, is going to have the East Coast people and the West Coast people. Like, what day and time is that for me? So yeah, I love a good note to self. Post it on my forehead inside. Yes, day and time is always. And Reality Diamond, you know, so this is the beauty of the world, right? And this is the beauty of what we get to engage in life, right? So on one side, I have my girl Juice hit me up talking about what day and time. And on the other side, I got my guy Freddie talking about on my way. So I don't know. Some people, you see what I'm saying? So thank you, Freddie, for totally catching my vibe and being like, on your way. Because the 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to you was like, duh, it must be now if she didn't put the day. And I appreciate that because I totally didn't put the day, dude. And you got me. So I appreciate you. Yes. And I'm starting the hashtag tag to thank my Curvies. Hashtag C2K because we just got 2K Curvies, you guys. Woo! Yes, congratulations. Thank you for coming through. You guys know what? Real quick, we got the Juice. She has a channel over here, and I think it's almost like a little network over there. She has different people come through and do little shows on her channel and stuff, and then they also go out in these YouTube streets and do stuff. It's like a whole little Juice radio talk show network thing happening. And then Reality Diamond, he's from across the pond. Is that where it is, across the pond? And because I heard actually the people in Australia and all that don't like being called down under. Yeah. So if it's not across the pond, let me know. But anyway, he's our UK brethren, and he has a channel also in these YouTube streets. So if you guys can drop your links, that would be fantabulistic. Yes, fantabular namorific. Yes, you can hear me. Thank you. Voice Twin is in the house. Yes, TikTok is about to be America owned. Good. Well, you know what? Let me get this link prepared because I want to hear from the people. Because we're going to have to agree to disagree here in a minute. Because on one hand, I'm very thankful. And on one hand, I'm kind of torn. Because I've had several different experiences among the digitizations. And so that's going to be part of why I think what I think. Yes. Allie from Miami is in the house. She has a channel. She's in my friends of, you guys. So on the description of this video, when you scroll down, you'll see a list of friends that I have here in the YouTube streets with their links to their channels. And I believe Allie from Miami is there. Let me know if it's there and can work and everything, you guys. Michelle GM in these YouTube streets. Love you. She's a mod super aficionado, you guys. She be like, I see her wrench by her name everywhere. I'm like, damn, do you have a channel yet? Right? Bianca Edwards. Awesome. Thanks for being here. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Make sure you hit that like button on your way in. Shout out to Smashing, okay? Yeah, that's what the saying. Okay, across the pond, right on. Thank you, Curves. Yes, it's a network, right? I see the vision. I was like, that's exactly what I've been seeing for like a while now, actually. But it's even more so now. I'm like, yes, it's definitely that, right? Before I was like, maybe. But now I'm totally like, that's definitely what's happening over there. Definitely. Love it. Yes. Happy Wednesday. Autumn Tress, right on. Thanks for coming through. Okay, let's get started, y'all. Let's get started. So you guys know you woke up this morning and lo and behold, the government decided to do something, right? Oh, where's the damn banner? Everything I say is allegedly an opinion for entertainment purposes, a lot of satire, some humor going on, sprinkled with some current events and some truths and things like that. If at all you happen to want to go research your own, very own way, that's a gift my father left me, rest in peace. It's like, 4 months now? Yeah, 4 months now. So the gift my father left me, you guys, is that you need to research everything yourself. Read everything yourself, right? You read your own contract. Even if your lawyer's doing it, like, you need to read that too, or else you'll end up getting paid $2,500 for being a villain on a show that you didn't sign up to be the villain on, allegedly, right? So there's that. But yeah, my daddy was always like, research, right? Even with religion, he's like, don't take our word for it, baby. He's like, you see what you and God, how you want to relate to God, because he had been raised Catholic, and being raised Catholic had a very obvious effect on him, to the point where he wasn't trying to do nobody's religion. But he wasn't a full-on atheist. Of course, he believed in God and the higher power and everything. And then also there's the Christian side of me. I went to all parochial schools, you guys, all parochial. From the time I was in kindergarten through 10th grade, no, through 9th grade. 9th grade. Yep, all parochial schools. Christian, Lutheran, Catholic. All parochial. I used to go to all girls schools. Still parochial. The nuns were everywhere. Habits. That's why you develop habits. Hang out with nuns. Hang out with a nun. Bet you come home with a habit. That's parochial school humor, you guys. That's parochial school humor. Hang out with nuns and you'll come home with habits. Oh, it cracked me up. Oh, it cracked me up. I cracked me up. Oh my gosh. I cracked me freaking up, man. I'm always having a freaking party in my head. For real. So let's present this. Let's add this to the stage, y'all. And let's take a look-see at the first thing that I happen to see. Shout out to Amanda Seales' lover. I do not mind Amanda Seales. And what about this freaking cameraman having to watch the Meg Thee Stallion have sex? And then she was like, you better not say anything. Really? Well, I say the one who smelt it dealt it.
We have heard Congress passed a bill that the president signed into law that is designed to ban TikTok in the United States. That will take TikTok away from you and 170 million Americans who find community and connection on our platform. Make no mistake, this is a ban on TikTok and a ban on you and your voice. Politicians may say otherwise, but don't get confused. Many who sponsored the bill admit a TikTok ban is the ultimate goal. It's obviously a disappointing moment, but it does not need to be a defining one. It's actually ironic because the freedom of expression on TikTok reflects the same American values that make the United States a beacon of freedom. TikTok gives everyday Americans a powerful way to be seen and heard, and that's why so many people have made TikTok part of their daily lives. Rest assured, we aren't going.
Can you guys hear that okay?
Confident, and we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts. The facts and the Constitution are on our side, and we expect to prevail again. Our community is filled with people who have found acceptance and compassion, often inspiration and encouragement, increase their awareness and broaden their perspectives, ultimately adding more delight and joy to their lives. Our community is also filled with 7 million business owners who have built their livelihoods on TikTok. While we make our case in court, you'll still be able to enjoy TikTok like you always have. In fact, if you have a story about how TikTok impacts your life, we'd love for you to share it to showcase exactly what we're fighting for. Meanwhile, we will continue to invest and innovate to keep our community vibrant, exciting, and safe. Through our US data security efforts, we have built safeguards that no other peer company has made. We have invested billions of dollars to secure your data and keep our platform free from outside manipulation. I can't say this enough. This extraordinary diverse community is what makes TikTok so special, what makes it matter, and what makes it meaningful. And we'll keep working to ensure you will always have the opportunity, the safety, and the freedom to enjoy all TikTok has to offer. Thank you. Hi everyone, the show here is your main.
So I woke up this morning and like I said, I really try not to reach for my phone first. I try, y'all. I try. But I have my notification alarm muted for 8 hours. And so it goes with my alarm to get up. And so of course, I'm like, okay, even to turn off the alarm on my phone, I have to put it in my hand. And then I happened to see the word TikTok ban. And I was like, really? Because I knew it was attached to this whole other bill, right? And I was like, oh, it was definitely going to go through if it was attached to that bill. Because when they tried to put TikTok as a ban prior, as Reality Diamond is saying, TikTok is definitely going as Trump will get rid of it if he got back in. So first we got Biden signing off on it, and the way things are looking, Sleepy Joe might go and 45 might be 47. So and isn't he who started it anyway? Isn't 45 who was the first one that was like, oh, there's a problem with TikTok? Wasn't he the first one talking trash about TikTok and how they had to do some stuff and everybody was like, womp, womp, womp. That's not going to happen. And it didn't happen. And my theory with TikTok in general is it is a fabulous opportunity for people who, during the time of the demic, in the year 19 of 20, 2020, and 2120, during the demics, and people were at home not knowing what to do and having nothing to do, and scripted television was gone, over. People were feeling disconnected from each other. Remember all that? It was crazy making time. But even before that, Trump was already on their ass, right? Because the stimmy checks didn't even go out until Biden. But everybody's happy because Trump's name is on them. Anyway, all that to say that TikTok has had its obvious awesomeness as far as use, and has made many people very, very rich. Like that guy that all he does is look at stuff and then look back at the camera and then look back at stuff, and his energy and vibe convey exactly what needs to be conveyed. Like, so if it was funny, then the look back to you, even though his face doesn't really move, conveys like that was hecka funny, but he's trying not to laugh. But if it was serious or stupid, then he would look back at the camera like, now you know that's stupid. You know what I mean? You guys know who I'm talking about. Anyway, and then that DeMilo girl, remember the DeMilo girl? She got to be super duper rich on TikTok. And then there were doctors giving advice, and then there was full-on conscious communities. So like if you were Native American, if you were indigenous, if you were a biker, if you were a male model, if you fancied yourself Britney Spears, if you know what I mean? So like it was awesome. And then also during the peak of TikTok use, it was a place for like cyber activism, if you will, during the entire George Floyd fiasco and murder that happened, that everybody decided to finally come out of the house because of masks everywhere. The streets were filled the way they are right now for what's happening. Yep, the way they are right now for what's happening. Just the world is full of compassion to the point of like filling streets to get the message across about how they feel about the mistreatment and about how they feel about just like flat out murder. And so during that time, that whole cyber activism thing was happening. And TikTok TikTok definitely was being used to get visuals out that went along with the reasoning behind all the uproarious protestings that mostly were peaceful, but uproarious in as much as the amount of people outside making an uproar. We could get to the etymology, but I think it only means calling out. It doesn't mean like, you broke the glass and busted the door and all that. So they were mostly peaceful, or anywhere else. Like, I didn't even know the stuff that had been happening in other countries was happening. And then there's a TikTok about it and you're like, whoa. And then you go to Google because, like Daddy said, research everything, don't believe it all, right? People can say anything. And as it turns out, they'll even make a Google site to match a freaking bona fide magazine called In Touch and say that Andy Cohen is leaving. And there's fully a magazine called In Touch. And so everybody believed it, right? But they said it wasn't real. So that's weird. Anyway, TikTok became kind of a place for like social activism. You couldn't leave the house if you were like, sticking to the protocols or whatever, or weren't really having the appropriate, whatever you felt like might be appropriate. If you couldn't put that microwave on your head like that guy is still wearing today. He still wears that microwave on his head, you guys. Have you seen him on Instagram? And he wears a microwave on his head and rides a dirt bike through the city streets. And he comes to a skid stop in front of you, like a drift skid stop on a dirt bike, opens the microwave door and says, "You should always love yourself because you're worth loving," and slams the microwave door and speeds off. Have you guys seen him? So he's been wearing that microwave since the demic, y'all. That was his mask. And remember, people were getting really inventive. Anyway, back to TikTok. So I love life. I love when people have the opportunity to decide for themselves what they feel like doing. You know what I'm saying? I love when people can expect to live like in a harmonious way, and and if they're not, then you have the constitutional right to peacefully protest. There's nothing wrong with it to me. There's nothing wrong with it. So imagine like reposting things from that time period. And I don't know if you guys remember, but it was if you had that on your algorithm on freaking TikTok, all of the freaking injustices that are happening, oh my gosh, like you like one freaking thing and all of a sudden you find out that the freaking world is on bleeding and there's not enough bandages. It's like stat. Somebody get it. You know what I'm saying? So right on. Thanks for being here, Anne. And so I was doing like, my little cyber activism stuff. And I had got up to I had about 30,000 at one point, but it stayed around 25,000, right? So I was doing my thing over there. And then they had that thing where you could get in the creator fund, right? So I feel like what's happening on TikTok should be, it's okay that it's happening, I think. I don't think that what he said is true. This guy,
That's why so many people have made TikTok part of their daily lives. Rest assured, we aren't going anywhere. We are confident that we will keep fighting for your rights in the courts. The facts and the Constitution are on our side, and we expect to prevail again. Our community is filled with people who have found acceptance and compassion, offered inspiration and encouragement, increased their awareness and broadened their perspectives, ultimately adding more delight and joy to their lives. Our community is also filled with 7 million business owners who have built their livelihoods on TikTok. While we make our case in court, you'll still be able to enjoy.
So that part right there. So yeah, people do that on TikTok, but there's a whole community of people that have been shadow banned and are not able to get monetized, like myself over here on TikTok, all because of the social activism stuff that we did during specifically the George Floyd stuff. That's around the time that this was happening. And I know that there's other people that this has happened to that have had to go to other platforms, and they're censored also. So once this started happening to me over on TikTok, I started calling it the digital plantation. Because if all the videos where I'm shucking and jiving and dancing, those they would kind of let get through sometimes. But anything that had to do with reality or questioning the whitewashed history, they would shadow ban. Needless to say, my freaking series on Neanderthals didn't go very well. But it's just a way that they have done this to many, many people, and it's not fair. And we've talked to them about it, you put your little complaint in or whatever, and they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. Right? Or they would let certain people get bullied and other people can't get bullied or can't get questioned or can't have a remix of their video with a look on your face. You know what I'm saying? Just because, yeah. So just as a person who has benefited and then had that taken away because of what my message was, and it wasn't to hurt, harm, or hinder, it was just reality, truth. Come on, what's the solution? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't even, and it's just, I always have felt a way about it. So now hearing that they're about to get banned, I'm like, I really don't care. That's what you motherfucking get. That's what you get, TikTok. Digital plantation all the way from China. Really? 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 Bye. How do I get, I'm just like, how do I get all of these videos off of here and then deactivate the account before it leaves in January or whenever it is? Because I am completely like, that's what you get. You never win when you play dirty, TikTok. That's ha ha. Ha ha. Who's in the back? Who's in the back? Freddie!
Hey,
right
how are
on.
you?
Hey, what's good? What's good?
Yeah, no, all's well. How are you?
I am excellente. Excellente. How's everything over that way?
Yeah, no, everything is well. Busy at the moment, so haven't really done too much on YouTube, but hopefully getting back into it soon.
Do you TikTok?
I don't really TikTok, no. I started the TikTok way, and it was a good way to get YouTube subscribers. And
Mm-hmm.
I actually was able to grow my TikTok to well over 1,000 followers pretty quickly. I
Mm-hmm.
think TikTok has its benefits. So, like, when I went to New York, it was fantastic for like finding about amazing restaurants that weren't the really expensive ones in places like Little Italy, and then like when I went to Brooklyn for a day and stuff like that, because it's not an area that I'd never been there before, so I didn't know. So to find out about all these like different places through
Yeah.
TikTok and to go to them, I thought was really good. Like, you wouldn't be able to find that anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think there are concerns with the platform based on the fact that, you know, that potentially maybe a certain government can access people's data and use it for bad reasons rather than for good.
Yeah, there's that too.
But I mean, at the end of the day, what we have to remember though at the same time is, even if TikTok, say, sold to one of those other big American corporations, I bet you they'll be doing the same type of thing. You know, all these, they all have access to our information and data and stuff. That's what
Yeah.
we've got to remind ourselves.
Yeah, because they just have the report about how Instagram gave our information to somebody else.
Yeah, Meta do it, Microsoft do it. I did.
And
Apple have all of your stuff on the cloud.
hi, Juice.
So, hey, Juice.
Hey, beautiful people. How y'all doing?
I'm good.
Excellent.
Listen, so glad to be over here. I just had to come over here. Curve, I have not been on panel with you in a while. I've been in some of your comments, but I said, let me go over here and support her because she always supports me and she always sends me her DMs. I appreciate you. So I said, let me go ahead and spend this time with my girl Curves today. Thank you.
Right on. I'm glad you came through. Do you TikTok?
I do.
Right on. So how do you feel about it? What's been your experience?
I like TikTok. TikTok is good for the quick in and out, not the long term. I like it. It's fun. I like to clip. Now, my channel has been growing on TikTok. I'm not monetized yet on TikTok, but I like how the people can gravitate to you, and I like the atmosphere. I don't know what the whole thing that's going on. I'm going to start doing some research because I saw in a group text, the team was texting saying something about the same subject you're talking about. What's going on with TikTok? And so I'm going to be doing some research and find out. I don't know what the whole thing is going on, but it's like when you get something good, then somebody want to come in and try and put a wrench in it. And what else? What is we going to do? I think they're trying to get us to go back to the old TV screens. I think that's what a lot of them,
right, where they can continue their programming.
Right. But we still got the fabulous YouTube, up and running. And so, we'll just keep gathering there until they figure it out. But we do have, I believe, until they said 2025, and somebody said, I think it was AAE, said that they're probably not going to drop it, but they're probably going to be selling it and so forth. What information you have on that?
About that? Do you feel, is this like, do you feel like countries, I mean, is this normal? I thought that's the reason companies go to other countries is so that they can run the way they want, or
that's what I
the rules there are different. You know what I mean? To benefit them in a way. And so for there now to be this all of a sudden, oh my gosh, it's a problem.
Yeah.
But why? And then there was just our whole government got information from one of the places we use. The people at Grindr release HIV status for American users or something like that. And it's just like all kind of little stuff that's already happening.
Wow.
What is I don't like the idea though of like, the whole foreign government having, like, are they going to clone me? Can they really clone me? I don't know.
I think the big problem is, no matter where the country is, all of these big companies have a lot more data of us than they actually let on. It's what they do with it and how they're going to use it. That's, I would say, is probably the most concerning thing of them all. I don't think it's specific to China. I don't think it's specific to America or England. I think any country, like there are so many examples globally of them abusing people's data.
So is TikTok owned by China or Asia or one of those other
It's owned by China. So the CEO and co-founder is Chinese. The founder is Chinese. However, there is a CEO of TikTok who is Singaporean because because the CEO of TikTok, I think, was having an argument with that US senator called Tom Spector, I think his name is. And that senator kept accusing him of being Chinese, asking if he was part of the Chinese regime, and stuff. And he was like, no, I'm Singaporean. And the truth is that you can't be a part of that Chinese government or work for them or be in that regime if you are not a resident of China.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, that's good to know. See?
I need to know more about this because I have not heard that U.S. government coming this hard for a company or even a social media platform this hard. I mean, is TikTok making really that kind of money? I know they're making money because it take them long enough to pay us. It's hard to monetize over there. Yeah.
We can touch on that for a split second. I don't want to get flagged or anything. But the mere fact is how much money is invested from them to us on top of it.
God, yeah.
Because how much of our dollar do they already own?
Oh, that was it. I've got the details here. Okay, so so basically US Senator Tom Cotton is his name, repeatedly asked Xiaozi Chu, the CEO of Chinese-owned social media app TikTok, about his links to the Chinese Communist Party. And despite Mr. Chu repeatedly asserting that he is Singaporean at a hearing in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday, there's this video which I saw, it's basically this minute-long exchange of Tom Cotton asking Xiaozi Chu about his citizenship, passport, and whether he is a member of the Chinese Communist Party, to which he makes clear numerous times that he is Singaporean. And to answer the question of who is TikTok owned by, it's owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, spelled BYTE.
And
I believe the CEO, he denies that the company has ever shared or received a request to share US users' data with the Chinese government. But of course, you are going to deny that. It's like, when does a murderer ever confess that they did it? Really rare.
ByteDance, right?
Yeah. Spelled BYTE rather than as in biting on Apple.
So the U.S. is more concerned about the data. So they're saying that basically or allegedly TikTok has gotten so much of American data. That's why they're trying to force them to sell.
Yes, that's what I'm understanding. And it's going to happen either way because both the Democrats and the Republicans have this exact same concern about China basically stealing American and the rest of the world's data and using it for whether that's viruses, whether it's to control people, numerous things. To me, this was the first I had heard of Joe Biden sort of actually having an opinion on it, because I've heard more about him obviously talking about things that we could probably argue are more important, like making sure that there's free healthcare for lower income, people in America and things like that. The really key things for his campaign. So The TikTok thing, I mean, look, I see where both Biden and Trump are coming for with their concerns on TikTok. I can't deny that. But yeah, no, it was a pleasant surprise to see Biden's concern on that.
Ding dong.
Yeah.
What's good, AAE?
What were you saying, Curve?
I was saying, AAE right here.
Oh, okay.
Just popped up.
Hey, voice twin. I was getting off of.
What were you saying, Curve?
I was getting off of.
AAE right here.
Okay.
Just
Hey,
popped up.
voice twin. I was getting off of.
What were you saying, Curve?
Oh yeah, it doesn't like it.
AAE right here.
She has two links to apps.
Yeah, it never likes it.
There. Right on. So yeah, so to me, like it was fun while it lasted and everything, but having like 25,000 followers and getting 58 views is shadow banned. That's a form of shadow ban. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not even a percent. That's not even, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and they do that to punish you for what they feel like you shouldn't talk about. So it's
on here?
There's censorship going on, and then the topics that they're not allowing to be talked about, to me, are symbolic of what I call the digital plantation, because the people they're checking for are usually indigenous or people of color or some melanated or something, or oppressed, or you know what I'm saying? Like the ones who are having the foot on their neck, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I found it took me well over 2 years to get monetized on YouTube, and I kept going through it, and I was so confused as to why I wasn't getting monetized, based on the fact that I had no people, striking my channel, making complaints. I had no copyright infringements either. So I got really fed up, and I just basically wrote an appeal to them saying, I don't get what I'm doing wrong. I tick all the boxes when it comes to all the requirements you want, and I've done nothing wrong. And they just basically, I then got an email really early in the morning saying you've now been monetized.
That's nice. You fought for it. Good. And won.
Yeah. I think sometimes it might be worth you trying to do that, because I think it's definitely a war with them to get it. And I know YouTube are constantly making it harder and harder for people to get in on their partnership program now.
Yes. I like on YouTube, but I noticed with we learn with the process, but I noticed on some thumbnails when you upload and some things that you say, they will then put you to a limited view, ad suitability and stuff like that. So all of them are doing this kind of thing where they're trying to watch what people are saying and doing and so forth. All of the platforms are doing it. I think AA said that her volume is working right now. Does she want to chime in? You can't hear. Curves, you there?
Oh,
I'm here.
Yes, this
Okay.
is a good thing. The United States is not going to allow another country to data mine, data collect. We have not even discussed data migration. No. You cannot do that, especially since TikTok is primarily for the youth. The state of California, which I mentioned in the chat, they have the CCPA, which is specific to child privacy laws, to child privacy. Not only that, in the state of California, when you buy your good, your Keisha, that is medical privacy. They cannot even, your data has to be protected. These dispensaries have to treat your data like it's medical. And I can talk on and on and on, but China should have sold to Trump when they had the chance. They did not. They were banking and hoping that Trump would lose the election, which in essence, he kind of did. And now Biden, of course, is going to be on American side and stop TikTok. and it will be American owned. So do not worry. They're just going to do basically like a transfer of like quote unquote power, but not really. It's going to be an acquisition. It's not a merger. It's an acquisition to an American company. That company will then be subject to United States privacy laws. And this is
there a lot of
software and hardware. They don't even mess around these data centers, which is hardware. The United States, when it comes to compliance and regulation, is very, very tight. Curves. The last company I worked with, I did consulting work with, one of the older people, he even said, this is the toughest regulatory environment I have ever seen in the past 25 years of working.
Really?
Wow.
The United States is not playing around when it comes to compliance and regulation. Right now, if you're an attorney or a lawyer, cybersecurity, privacy, DLP, data loss prevention, is a big place to make money because we take it seriously. Children, number one, under 18, you cannot touch them. You cannot. On top of that, there is financial data. On top of that, just unstructured data. I could go on and on and on, but China should have just sold. What makes you think you're going to come into another country and start trying to clear out American data? That's not going to happen. That's trying to make fetch happen. And we all know, stop saying fetch. Stop trying to say fetch. It's not going to happen.
Right.
No.
So Instagram is American.
Instagram is
It's used in China, isn't it?
Okay.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, China, because it's a dictatorship, they're really strict on what social media channels are there. I know WeChat is their biggest social media platform that they use, which is like a texting program, and like you can do all different types of things on it. But yeah, I know they've had Instagram there in the past. I don't know if they do now, because I'm pretty sure they did ban it.
Are there any American apps over there like this that are social like this? Like, is there Facebook? Is there Instagram? Was there ever? What was that
good
that used to happen?
I mean, from what I understood from like people I went to school with that were Chinese, they didn't even have they weren't selling iPhones there until a couple of years ago. They were only really selling Androids. Android is the most prominent one. And a lot of the brands out there, they're not things like Samsung and like Huawei. They've got like loads of like other Chinese brands of Android phones that none of us have heard of because they don't sell them in America or Europe.
Oh, thank you, Kurt.
You can't access Instagram in China due to strict internet censorship law enforced by a Great Wall. So you can't get on Facebook or Twitter. Oh, and YouTube.
Wow. I did not know that.
So yeah, no, that's a good tip for tat. That's tip for tat.
And then the other thing I wanted to say about TikTok, wasn't there talk about when Trump was talking about wanting to ban TikTok? Wasn't Microsoft looking to try and buy it?
Yes, they were. Yes.
And that sort of didn't happen because it seemed to...
Because ByteDance would not sell. ByteDance refused to sell.
Did you say ByteDance?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's that company.
The company.
ByteDance, they're the company that own TikTok. Clearly,
TikTok.
They refused
Trump
to sell,
even
but they're
said
now
he
going to be
tried to
forced to sell
facilitate.
because no matter what happens in the election, whatever president gets in, both of them want to get rid of TikTok. So that's a losing battle. But I know one of the other big concerns with TikTok is the fact that, of course, China's biggest ally is Russia. And of course, you've got the UK, who've been like one of the biggest providers, like to try and protect Ukraine. We've got Germany, America are big in protecting Ukraine as well. And I think there's a lot of concern about the fact that TikTok, or if it's China, could be giving data information to Russia, and Russia could be working with China to find ways to influence people to potentially try and support Russia over Ukraine in the war.
That is a very astute point, and is something that, of course, United States intelligence has probably already addressed.
Mhm.
And I think that this has been, and I personally believe that this has been the big decision that sort of pushed Joe Biden and his government, or his presidents, and, you know, all the people that work with him in the White House to say, we're getting rid of it.
That's actually what I thought that AE was referring when she was saying Biden's. I thought she was saying something else. I thought she was saying something funny in reference to Biden. That's why.
I remember that Musical.ly app. I didn't use it, but my sister absolutely loved it.
It won't let me copy it, but yeah. So Musical.ly we used to be here, right?
Yeah, it was everywhere. It was in England.
And then
I mean, my sister was
right?
a massive fan of it.
And then it disappeared, right?
Yeah.
It didn't disappear. It became TikTok.
Yeah,
so
basically.
ByteDance acquired Musical.ly. How did that happen?
I think for me, what
Acquired
happened,
Musical.ly.
from what I felt, I can't talk about in America, but certainly in England, Musical.ly, it seemed to be a lot more attractive to like teenagers, like 15 to 18-year-olds. Whereas I think it seems like they've taken a lot of what this Musical.ly is about, but marketed it and added more features to make the app, the program, more attractive to all age groups that have a smartphone.
Yeah.
But didn't they take away a large amount of the music recently with TikTok?
I thought they did, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they have, and I've noticed per country that there are different rules. I've noticed it per country of songs that you can and can't use.
So like, the copyright.
Yeah, the copyright issues.
And there's been a lot of pushback from these labels when it comes to TikTok because of the music issue, Curves. So you think of the number of American lobbyists who are lobbying Biden's administration to it's not so much banning TikTok, it's just making TikTok an American company. TikTok better hurry up and form its corporation in Delaware like everybody else does.
Right? Shout out
Curves.
to Delaware.
Shout out to Delaware, corporation capital of the world, and appropriately abide by American laws. So that's going to include the licensing of music and, of course, the privacy laws, like I mentioned earlier.
So these owners of TikTok, when we say they need to sell it to America, will they still receive compensation and whatever when they sell, or are they just saying, give me your company and you get nothing?
I don't know, because look, ByteDance has over 150,000 employees based out of 120 cities globally: Austin, Barcelona, New York, Seattle, Tokyo, Los Angeles, Singapore, Shenzhen, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Jakarta, Dubai, Dublin, Berlin, and Beijing, y'all. So what are they saying? So are they gonna run everything? What's happening?
Right. I mean,
the company will be an American company. They're going to be compensated. It's not going to. It's an international acquisition.
Thanks for coming, Freddie.
So there, of course, the lawyers will do the needful. Everyone will be paid. I remember Trump said that he wanted the United States to get a cut for facilitating the acquisition. It's not going to be a merger of equals. It will be an acquisition.
So they're fully taking over and just giving you your check for your company. Here's a check. Goodbye. Not even leaving them on as board members, not leaving them on to still run the company in some form of way, giving them 10%, 1%, nothing. Just here's a check. We're taking your company.
Well, here's the thing, though. The company is probably going to be a private company, and maybe, well, especially now that it will be an American company, at some point the company will go public. The company will go public.
Right.
When, I don't know. So then that kind of touches on her question as to when we're looking at the board, shares, etc. But right now, an American company is going to acquire an international private company. I don't know if ByteDance has listed TikTok on their particular stock exchange. So we had to look into that perspective as well.
Mhm.
We had to look at that as well. So we don't know how long this is going to take, but they really do need to move fast, because the longer they stall, which is basically what they've been doing, they knew this was going to happen.
Mhm.
I think they called Trump's bluff. But as opposed to seeing this as an American president looking to acquire this company, they were just seeing it as, Trump's administration. Oh, it's just Trump. Well, let's wait it out. And with that being said, Curves, a lot of these foreign governments and foreign companies, they do that. They know our election. They know it's every 4 years. So there's a tendency to just let's just wait it out. Let's just wait it out. And they didn't play their hand. Like, Texas Hold'em, Beyonce, you didn't play your hand right, and now you've lost, because this is more than just an administration. This is the United States. The United States has made a call, and you better take heed. You're going to sell this company, whether it be Trump, whether it be Biden, or whoever, or Newsom, or whoever. But this is going to be an American company.
Hey, thanks for coming back.
We're simply not going to. Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you in forever. How are you? I've not seen this guy in forever.
Mhm.
No, he's so cool.
Wow.
Hey, I've seen you on a number of lives, like 2 years back, and you were always negative.
Hey, Freddie.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah.
Right on.
I believe they said they have until 2025 to decide what they're going to do or something like that. I think they said they're giving them till 2025, an article I was reading earlier.
And keep in mind, we're already in Q2 2024. So they basically have like less than a year. And really by 2025, it's like the end of December. Because remember, we're also thinking the fiscal year. From a business perspective, we're thinking fiscal, and everyone plans their next year Q3. So they better be done more like by Halloween. You better be cleaned up and ready to go, because after Halloween, American companies are already, shutting down. They're going to be in like what we call like a freeze period where nothing happens. So they need to have this really done by Labor Day, Halloween. You all better have it like taken care of. Like, you cannot wait on this, because you don't want, think of the United States. I mean, there's so many ways you can go around this, like a hostile takeover, or the United States putting pressure on other foreign companies to not do business with ByteDance. Or remember, the United States, huge ally with the UK. You can put pressure on the current PM, the UK PM, his administration. There's so many ways the United States, because the United States, again, is military, the government, and of course, business.
Right.
Everyone's doing their business with the United States currency. So the United States always has leverage when it comes to these types of
Briggs.
And I think even on all these, most countries in Europe, like in England, in France and stuff, and all on their own volition, think TikTok's bad news, and that the Chinese government have a lot of influence over it. So, I mean, I really think they're wasting their time with this legal action. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they do something similar in England in the very near future. But it's not.
If I may bring up GDPR, I know you're familiar with that. The GDPR.
Yeah.
You're familiar with that. Curves, that's the EU. They have their own privacy laws, which is actually even more stringent than the United States. The EU is very tight with privacy, and also, the EU and their food, they don't just eat anything, processed food, but they're just as tight with privacy laws, GDPR. So I actually worked a project where we had to be in compliance with the EU, with the European Union. So when we look at our data centers and our databases, so we have the hardware, software, you have to remain in compliance. That costs a lot of money, but it's regulation. And when you're looking at, mainly it's China, you need to be in compliance. China does not want to be compliant, but they want to do business in the EU and, of course, the United States. And when you say the United States, that's all of the Americas, everything. That definitely includes Mexico, that includes Canada. And Canada is like that bridge between the United States and the EU. So you can't get any way around this. They had plenty of time to get their act together with Trump. They could have sold this company with Trump to an American company. The United States would have gotten a cut. Microsoft or Apple, or maybe even a smaller company, gotten a cut, but they refused. Also, if I may share something, there's a company, he mentioned Huawei. Huawei is China's version of Cisco, and they literally just lifted Cisco. Like,
well, with Huawei, we had quite some issues with them. So with the whole 5G network, originally Huawei were going to be the ones installing all of that. And then like so many people, like politicians in parliament and like the government were like, no, we're not going to use Huawei because of the fact that they could well be using the data centers and the telephone masks as a way to spy on British people or any sort of tourists that are coming to visit the UK through and taking their data. So in the end, we used Nokia to build them. They were a Swedish company.
And Nokia is a Swedish company, which of course understands European culture, which respects privacy. And they're also a European company that's paying European taxes. That's another thing.
Exactly.
Is China paying their taxes to the EU and to the United States?
I don't know, but look, even Apple were not. I mean, they got sued because
by the
they
EU,
based their company in like Ireland. And they avoided paying billions of tax that they should have been paying.
Curves, Ireland is EU's Delaware. That's the tax name. That's
right on.
Delaware, the EU has Ireland.
That's right.
Wow. Well, I was looking up. Did you see the Yahoo article? It stated on there that the earliest a TikTok ban could start is like what AA was saying, start in January of 2025 or April 2025 if the one-time extension is granted. So they're asking for this one-time extension to be granted. They say, however, legal experts anticipate that with TikTok threatening legal action, the ban could be postponed for even longer. So we don't even know if it's going to stay said between January 1st or later. But this has been going on, they said, since a source told them, NBC News, that the upcoming presidential election was definitely conveniently addressed by the new deadline. Former President Donald Trump also tried to leverage Biden's support of the ban in a Truth Social post advising young people to remember this on November 5th election. Trump signed an executive order in August 2020 to ban TikTok if ByteDance didn't sell it within 45 days. It was later blocked in court. So this is something like AA said has been going on since 2020. Now it's getting to the point where they say, like AA saying, do something now or we're going to actually ban it. And that deadline is coming up. And if you get an extension, then they'll, I guess, wait until that. But really, we're not even guaranteed that they're going to get an extension. So,
that is incredible that they had the foresight to line everything up like that. Because when I look at what's included in the bill that it got pushed through with, because it couldn't stand alone. Nobody was going to do it alone. But with it being part of the bill is part of the reason that it got cheered when it went through, right? Because also in the bill is actually what it says, 95 billion.
Wow.
95 billion in aid to some people and countries, okay? Oh, and the freaking TikTok better sell. You see that? So that's also that's my, like I said earlier, I don't mind that it's happening. If they don't have us there, then fine. Don't be here. You just can't. If we can't If you feel a way about Instagram and Facebook being there, then it's fine. Hey, do you? If you didn't make us sell instead, or if you asked us and we were like, whatever, we'll pass. You know what I mean? And it didn't even make the news. I don't know that I ever even heard that they were asked to sell in order to be over there. China didn't even entertain it, right? So to throw it in with this 95
this is the problem
billion...
I've noticed with China for a lot of things. They want to be these big people. They want to be like all over the world, but they don't seem to accept that they have to adapt to other people's rules and cultures for certain things. It's like, it's like when you go to another country, you can't just accept you can just do what you want, or the laws are the exact same where you live, because that's just not the case.
Right. No.
Yeah.
No.
Curves, I didn't say this part on this.
Made it sound like that was okay,
and
right?
particularly a country like America, who have now overtaken China again as the richest continent. Like, what makes you think that the Americans are sort of just going to bow down and give in to what you want?
Right.
Curves, this article also says that TikTok was banned in India nearly 4 years ago. Did you guys know that too? And it said along with dozens of other Chinese-owned apps following a military clash along with the India-China border. India had about 200 million TikTok users, and it said the U.S. has around 170 million, making it the country with the most users outside of China. It also goes on to say within months of the ban, those millions of users in India flocked to Google's YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels, which is likely future for American users too. So if y'all are out there doing stuff on TikTok, get your other channels up just in case. Get them up
and that doesn't surprise me. That India and China are having problems, because India is taking over China in terms of the wealthiest economy in Asia. We're seeing that a lot of people, a lot of billionaires, or a lot of people that own interests in China are selling them to buy in India, because China, the dictatorship, COVID's ruined everything. We've seen a lot of very wealthy Chinese leave China to go to other places and things. So India is where it's going to be, and probably in the future will be the second biggest economy in the world. So, China are obviously not going to be happy with that.
Do you think that if 45 became 47, that he could use this to leverage China?
They'll do all they can. They will do all they can to try and keep it in, but it's not going to work. I mean, look at China. They're actually probably the world's biggest current colonizer at the moment, because they are killing a lot of black people in Africa to kill rhinos, because they believe that the rhino horns could give them more testosterone, and apparently makes their dick bigger. They're also killing a lot of people and enslaving a lot of people in Africa for farms, as well as for gold and diamonds.
Yes.
And what's worrying is because of technology, they've been able to move at a quicker pace than when England colonized Africa all those years ago.
So do you think that, look, they're talking about getting into the core algorithms, you guys. They're like,
but let's also
if
remember,
ByteDance does sell, they're not likely to sell it with their core algorithms. Do you think that matters?
Yes, it does matter.
That does.
Yes. The algorithm is like the heart and the soul. That is that's the technology. That's the platform itself. That's like the kinetic energy.
That's what knowing our data does.
Well, no, that's actually, actually, that's a good point. Like the algorithm, it is like knowing the data, and also actually, that's the best way to put it. curves. It's like knowing data, and then it's like no, there's something called like knowledge based. It goes back to something ontology.
Oh, sorry.
I don't want to go too deep. I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole. But that's really what an algorithm is, where it's more than just like transaction. Slowly but surely, it learns you and knows who you are, and starting like the suggestions. Oh, how we suggest. So you can actually, you can copyright an algorithm, you can, and then you can license your copyrighted algorithm to another company. It happens all the time. But China better get its act together because we're taking everything.
Gotta go, Curves. Thank you.
Oh, no worries. Thanks for coming up, Juice. Everybody, go through and smash your buttons if you haven't already. Check the Juice out. She has, I'm telling you guys, it's total network vibe going on over there. Various shoes, various shows, various topics. She gets to it all. So go check her out, please.
All right. See you later, Freddie. Bye-bye, guys.
Hi, good to see you.
Right
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, they know that China's obviously this big continent. They've made a lot of money. They're the number one of manufacturing. But I don't think people quite realize how dangerous this regime is, and that they have their fingers in other pies, and they're doing a lot of potentially dangerous stuff that the mainstream media aren't talking about. But if you know people that live in places like Nigeria, like people like me who went to school with a few Nigerians, they've seen, they know these, they're friends with these people that have lost land and stuff because of them.
Right. You can't compare, like everyone wants to keep saying, compare China to the UK's colonialism. It's not even the same. It's categorically not even the same. Like at the end of the day, he mentioned Nigeria. Nigeria is an English-speaking country. In no way, shape, nor form is Nigeria going to stop being an English-speaking country and start speaking Chinese. I don't want to go too deep, of course, but there are significant cultural differences when it comes to China and the UK. Significant cultural differences. A lot of people in Africa were very, very, very sad and upset when the Queen passed away. That's not going to happen with China. Like there's China is just here, just the money. Like China,
it's the money. It's their goal. It's their natural materials and natural resources, as well as their gold and diamonds and their mining that
and
China
also,
wants.
Can I bring up something? China, the superstition. I know we're kind of delving a little bit off the topic, but China brings a lot of superstition to Africa, which is very not okay in Africa. Like a lot of this superstition and a lot of behavior that's just not very conducive with the culture. Like yes, of course, the UK has colonialism. There's go back and forth, whatever.
Yeah.
But you cannot even compare the two. It's not the same. And also, Nigeria is part of the Commonwealth. Kenya is part of the Commonwealth. Uganda is part of the Commonwealth. Ghana is part of the Commonwealth. South Africa has a large population of Brits and Nigerian people and other African people who speak English and a few French. Everybody's there. Like there are common denominators.
Dutch.
And well, of course, yeah.
Because Afrikaans, I think, is made of Dutch.
Yes. You cannot say the same of China. Like it's just not the same. And the way China moves, there's just a lot going on there. China, go in, make your money, do whatever you need to do, leave. Africa's cool with that. But a lot of the behavior is like, you just can't keep like this. I know it sounds bad to say curves. I call it sycophant. That's just my opinion. You know, all views and opinions on LRGA Curves platform are not necessarily the views of LRGA Curves and her affiliates. I just want to put that out there. So these are just my opinions. But China you can do certain things, but you have to really abide with the cultural norms. And a very strong cultural norm in the Western world is privacy. You just cannot move any way you want and start just mining people's data, especially the youth. You cannot do that. And that doesn't even talk about some of China and the fake rice, China and the fake baby formula. I could go on and on and on. But they need to abide right now, because if for there to be an extension curves, that means that the United States needs to see what implementation you have. Like, they need to see a documented plan of the handover, because there's going to be an American acquisition. So they need to start getting prepared. If they want an extension, then the United States regulators and of course these numerous businesses are going to see what you've been doing thus far.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, America wants to get their money.
That's what it's really about. And I also
let Trump get in.
money.
Trump bring in that more businessman energy. Y'all, come on. Trump is very bold and very, boastful when it comes to China. Not only are we going to get TikTok, they're going to end up buying more American goods. Because
that's his ultimate aim is he wants everyone in America. He wants to support American business, American manufacturing.
Absolutely.
And he puts big levies on, Chinese brands and companies, and makes it very expensive, making it a deterrent for your average American to buy a Chinese.
Well, won't he have to make the factories reopen in order for it to be made in America?
Yes, that's true.
We got the Heartland. We have North Carolina.
What about Cadillac and those brands?
It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater in reverse. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like
China does buy a lot of. Well, Cadillac is GM, General Motors. China buys a lot of American vehicles. Good for them. They should, as they should. That supports the UAW. Right. Let's support, United Auto Workers Union. Of course, do business with China. You're going to give us, we're going to acquire TikTok, and then you will buy American brands. You can buy.
Look, there was
buy the Cadillac, buy the Escalade.
Interesting. 112 nays, and they were all Republican when they voted on this. Interesting, huh? Interesting. I wonder why that was.
Well, Curves, remember China. Okay, so China's middle class.
Just a second.
Mandated minimum wage reflects the cost of living. You look at the way our politicians are cheering. They must have done something great for the American population.
China's middle class is about 50 million. That's the entire population of the United States. China has an actual middle class that by American standards is middle class, by US standards. That population itself is well over 300 million. I say that because China is a huge market for American goods. Remember that time LeBron came off supportive towards China, and then Laura Ingraham, she made that comment, "Shut up and dribble."
Anything at all to do with
and also John Cena. There's a huge Chinese market that love American goods. So a lot of American companies, they don't want to, piss off their Chinese customers, because there's a lot of money to make in China. And for Freddie, that China is number one in luxury. China buys more luxury than the EU and the United States combined. They buy luxury, and luxury is 100% European. LVMH
they do, and the other thing
massive
is
in China.
They sell things like Gucci, things like Saint Laurent and Dior. They're expensive brands
Massive
as it is.
in China.
But then
Massive
if you
brands
buy them in China, they cost even more, like twice the price of what
And they
would
buy
if you
it.
went to a
And they buy
Gucci in
it.
like UK or America.
Freddie, Louis Vuitton always has, for Chinese New Year, they always have a very, very special collection specific for Chinese New Year. Why is that? Because they have a massive Chinese clientele.
I would say most luxury brands, because I do work in luxury brands, most luxury brands now are doing lines or collections that celebrate Chinese events like Chinese New Year, the year of whatever, the dragon or whatever it is, because it is the biggest market for any luxury retailer.
Wow. You see, so there's so many layers to this whole TikTok ban. So even if it became American, I feel like the censorship would continue. And that's the reason I don't like it. But I love that people are making their money. I know my girlfriend, she's like, oh my God, if it wasn't for TikTok, we wouldn't have ate yesterday. You know what I mean? So I'm thankful that
from what
it's
I
like,
understood from this, a YouTuber called KSI, he's this black YouTuber. He's really funny. He's like probably one of the biggest YouTubers on YouTube with well over 24 million subscribers. He's massive. And he was saying that he's got TikTok, but he was saying he doesn't make loads of money from the platform specifically because they pay you a lot less money than YouTube do. But where he does make the big money on TikTok is through the ad stuff, the sponsorship, and like the brand partnering. But in terms of the pay per view or whatever you get for a live, TikTok pay you a lot less money than here on YouTube.
Well, I don't know what she's doing. She does some good stories over there, from what I understand.
So yeah, that is interesting.
So yeah, she's made. But yeah, they're doing a lot of things with our own privacy. The General Data Protection Regulation, the GDPR, that's here also. But they are selling our information here too. So I don't know.
Exactly. Everyone's doing it.
Yeah.
It's
like
not just, yeah, that's the thing.
And you work in luxury, Freddie. As
Yes.
you understand, the authenticity matters is everything.
It's everything. And
like, you know, there's no Louis Vuitton outlet. Like I know that there's one time once a year, Italy does like a reduced price, quote unquote, but there's no outlet. There's no
outlet. And you know, Value Retail, who own all those big outlets, those outlet stores across America, they do them for like Dior and all those other big ones, but Louis Vuitton is the only one that they don't do it with. And what's interesting with Louis Vuitton is that there are more fake Louis Vuitton items that exist in the world than there are real.
Whoa.
Because of China.
Yeah.
Like, they have a massive market and they put in so much effort for fake LV. Like real effort, curves. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, remember,
that's why I buy direct. I go straight to Phipps. You know, I buy right there.
Tiffany Moons from Dallas. Didn't
Sam Moon curves? Yeah. I need to tell you about them. They are fake.
Yeah, I heard. Aren't her parents like handbag importers of fake?
Yeah, and everything.
Let me tell you about Sam Moon. If you ever come to the United States, go to Harry Hines. Go to Dallas. Go to Harry Hines. The Sam Moon has this huge. They bought this huge piece of land. They built this area up for that's what they call it, Sam Moon. They have other little stores as well. All of Harry Hines in Dallas. Live chat. Those of you in Dallas, you know what I'm talking about. Harry Hines, you know what I'm talking about. That's where her family made their fortune, and it's copying off luxury. It is so beyond fake. I cannot even express it to you. Oh my gosh, everything fake Louis, it's at Sam Moon. Curves, you don't want to go there.
Yeah, no, I can see.
Is it like the swap meet? Is it basically the swap meet?
But it's not even so much a swap meet. It's just the fakery. Like, even the building, like, it looks new, but like styrofoam fake. Like, I just went in there one time to buy some cheap luggage because I was flying back. Like, and it's just crap. It'll fall apart once you get to Atlanta. You go from DFW to Atlanta, that luggage just falls apart.
Yeah, I'm looking on his website now.
So hard, but then
me too. I'm right over here on Sam Moon,
and it's like, it's so obvious that they're copying like Prada say?
They absolutely are. That's why funny.
And like
if
the
you've ever had
logo,
the
because
chance,
of that
go to
triangle
Sam Moon,
logo is so
then go to North
distinctive.
Park, which is like where the wealthy. It's like North Park is. It's close to where President George W. Bush, where he was living and where he lives now. That's where Dallas shops. Everyone, Sam Moon is off Harry Hines, where the prostitutes stroll. If that says anything to you, Freddie, that's where they stroll. Harry Hines.
Oh, interesting.
Of
North
course, Sam
what?
Moon would be. Of course, Sam Moon would be there, loud
You
and
said
proud.
North.
North Park is where Dallas shops. The ultimate Louis Vuitton store is at North Park. We have one at the Galleria, but the good one is at North Park. That's where Dallas shops. All the luxury is right there. And the Louis Vuitton shop, it's smaller, but it's beautiful. It has everything you need. Everything you need. And they do not mess around with, they don't sell this fake nonsense. It is just luxury. That's all it is. And everything that surrounds that area is luxury. Though it's one of the wealthiest zip codes in Texas. So there's North Park, there's the Galleria, and then Plano, also in Highland Park. Plano has Willow Bend, which is good, Willow Bend. And then of course there's Highland Park Village, which also has its own luxury. That luxury is more akin to what you may be used to, Freddie, at Highland Park Village. So if you ever get a chance to go to Dallas, and of course you do luxury, check out these places and see what's going on. You want to see Sam Moon, but of course you want to see where the real deal is. I want to just share that with you.
I mean, that's the bit with Sam Moon, the bit that really surprises me. It's like how obvious he seems, the fakeness is like, so like when I was in New York, for example, like you see people that have like a carpet on the street with like fake sunglasses and bags and stuff. And then like if the police come, they sort of run away. Whereas like this guy seems to blatantly just be allowed to have it there and no one does anything about it. I just don't really understand how Sam Moon's able to get away with that, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah, because this looks very Von Cleef.
Like you're looking at things that so obviously Prada, Van Cleef, Bottega Veneta, and things like that, and like those are the three ones that were just so obvious.
And keep in mind, Freddie, that's why it's important for you to, if you ever have a chance to go to Dallas, fly in DFW and see this, because you will see where Sam Moon is located. It is nowhere near the actual high-end stores. Highland Park is very, very secluded. You cannot put a Sam Moon in Highland Park. They will never allow it. They wouldn't even allow a bus stop. They only allow that so their servants can come in. Like I don't want to, come off, wrong. But
yeah,
these stores, they pride in authenticity, and they will not allow the fakery, the foolery to be anywhere around them. Sam Moon is where the prostitutes stroll, off Harry Hines. That's where they have
How
to
are
be.
these allowed to look just like the other ones?
Remember, and think about Sam Moon is
like
in
white label
Texas.
luxury.
So they'll
White
allow
label
that in
luxury.
Dallas. But Dallas is still okay. So you can do business in Texas. Go ahead, get your business license. But these areas where they have the authenticity, they're not going to allow Sam Moon anywhere near them. That's why I'm kind of telling you. Like, if you ever have a chance, you go to like North Park, you go to Highland. Like, you would really like Highland Park. Highland Park Village, they'll adore you. Plus, you have a British accent, they're going to adore you there. You stroll through there. It will kind of remind you a little bit of what you're used to, but you never will see a Sam Moon there. They are very, very particular. They're not gonna, and they also had Real Housewives of Dallas. Those women, they got into Tiffany Moon. And
my friend is listening, and she's saying, "I've heard of Harry Hines for prostitution." She just texted me.
and notice the other women, they checked Tiffany Moon. The Bravo had to cancel the show. They check. We know who you are, Tiffany Moon, and we know where you come from. You can't bring that here, because just of the image, Sam Moon. You like, it's just.
So you
know
think,
what you do?
Oh, that's interesting. So you think that Tiffany Moon being basically finding out that a family of these sort of like fraudsters, like alleged fraudsters or whatever, was another part, because Bravo very much sold it that they cancelled it because of the racism on the show.
It's because of her and where she, and when I say where she comes from, it's just Sam Moon and what Sam Moon does and what they sell. And these other women, they would never go there. They're not going to go there. They're going to go to North Park. They're going to go to Highland Park Village. If they're in Plano, Willow Bend Mall is in one of the best zip codes in Texas. These malls I'm talking to you about, these are some of the wealthiest zip codes in the state of Texas, not Dallas, the state of Texas. I grew up with these people. You're not going to bring Sam Moon there. And my mother is a very regular woman who lives in Plano. Darling, I do not do that. Sam Moon, no. Let's go shop. North Park, we're going to North Park. You get there early. There we go. The Louis Vuitton store. This is where I go. I grew up right here. We're going to North Park. Highland Park Village in Christmas is beautiful. It's not surprising. I kind of knew, like Tiffany Moon of all people, interesting. They're not going to want that image attached. Dallas is very, very particular about image. And you cannot have an image of counterfeit, the daughter of the ultimate counterfeit, on a show that's about Dallas wealthy women.
Because is that why she got kicked off?
I do believe that, because this is
Look,
where
they were like, "Oh, we got to shut this down. We just got to shut it down. You guys are letting anybody on."
You can't. No, you cannot do that. It's just, yes, you may have money, but not all money is good money. And Dallas, like, yeah, that's where your money is from. Okay, I mean, you have money.
Is so many of those, when you're buying a fake product, it's not just getting something that's a cheap product. You're usually funding people that are running rings of some sort, selling something illegal, or, or taking people immorally, like underage people, taking people for, prostitution, all that type of stuff. That's what you're funding for. Because all these owners of these fake, or getting the people to sell these fake things, they're all pimps of some sort.
Correct. And it's a poor image. People don't want to see that, especially for doing a show specific about Dallas, especially if you are known for selling products.
Well, does nobody in Plano, North Park, or Hyde Park Village want to be on the show? Like, what's happening?
Well, also remember, George W. lives there. George W., he was there prior to becoming governor of Texas. Like,
My son loves Buckle.
He was just so bringing Secret Service there. Like, they didn't even want Secret Service there. Like, I mean, there's certain, like, Freddie, one of the I went to school with a few girls. They lived on Versailles. And I don't even need to say more to you. And that's in Highland Park. I don't need to say any more to you. Like, think about that, Freddie. Like, you grow up off a street named Versailles. Just imagine.
Versailles, one of the most beautiful buildings in just outside of Paris, in my
Absolutely. And North Park is like a good 7-minute drive, if that, from Versailles. Like, this is my me in high school. Like, this is my life. And I went to one of the best schools in this area, and they're not going to allow it. I did not even know about this Sam Moon place until well into college. Well into college, because it was never mentioned. If you're like, do you remember that singer from the 90s, Curves, Lisa Loeb? I don't know if you remember her.
Lisa
Loeb. She had that song called Stay. It was very popular in the 90s. She actually went to these schools. Yes, that song. If you hear what I want to, that song. She grew up right here. And she kind of jokes about how, people she went to high school with, and I know where she went to high school with, they would come with like $700 bags. Like in high school. Like high school, college, you're $700, $1,000. Freddie, every girl I went to high school and college with, every girl, their backpack was Burberry. And like their quote unquote backpack. Either you had Louis Vuitton or you had Burberry. Like you would have Louis Vuitton, you would have the classic, the original monogram, and then your scarf would be Burberry. That was like the uniform. So you're not That's the uniform for this area in Dallas. This is the uniform. They're not going to do Sam Moon. Like, it's not going to happen.
They let that. Wow, that's
Bravo doesn't know this though. Dallas, if you're not from the area, you just.
But I mean, you know how like when Jack and Jill found out they were going to get mentioned on Real Housewives, somebody pulled their coattail. You know what I mean? Just as somebody from Dallas, I'm surprised one of the other housewives weren't like, you can't. You just can't.
I
She
think the
was very
problem with
proud of
Dallas is that they probably told the women that they weren't allowed to because of the fact that the producers were so desperate to have some form of diversity on the show. Was they didn't, they were always white people, and they never had Asian or black people on Dallas, and they were desperate
Dirk
to have that.
Nowitzki,
So
of
they
course, is
wanted
German.
to
His
make
wife
sure that
is a
Tiffany
Kenyan
Moon
woman.
was painted in the best light possible. I
But
believe that's why that she wasn't asked, or they told the other housewives they couldn't ask Tiffany Moon why her parents are dodgy
Well, they
fraud
need to go to
designers.
these other places.
and her parents, the Sam Moon.
And
Like they're bringing up.
luxury.
Freddie, listen to what you're saying. They're bringing up the Sam Moon counterfeit. That's what they're touching on. And Bravo's seeing it as racism. No, they're seeing it's like you're counterfeit. And you cannot bring that here to the area.
You can't bring that here, darling.
You can't bring that here. You're
Well,
not bringing
giddy up.
when we're going. I'm at Highland Park Village. What are you and Harry Hines doing here? Harry Hines returning. Harry Hines.
That's hilarious.
I know those women were biting their tongue because they would have said something. Ooh, I know these women can read. White Dallas women can read the shade, and they do it like borderline like Phaedra. Like the shade.
Oh, I love a Phaedra read.
And I'm telling you, and this is like Dallas white women who've been there, and they will not yell, they will not curse, but they will read, and it will be about your background. Call it whatever you want, but your background does not fit because you sell counterfeit. You're selling counterfeit to look like the real thing, what we wear. No.
But everyone who knows, who actually owns real designer items, know it when it's a fake. You can tell, you can feel it.
And they're going to say something, especially Dallas women. They're going to say something. They're I can see the green. What's going on with your wrist?
But I've got to go now as it's getting a bit late and I've got work tomorrow. But so great to speak to you,
right?
Curves,
This turned into
and
a whole other
Late
part.
Live.
That's how much we care.
Oh, Freddie,
Look,
it's
that's
so
how
good to
much we
speak to
really care
you.
about
I
it.
hope to see you again on the live. Like, there's so much to talk to you about. Oh my goodness, Freddie, there's so much to talk to you about.
I know there is. We've got to do it another time.
Like,
though,
there's a list of a list I got to talk to you about. I remember talking to you about Michael and his money offshore. I remember you mentioned that to me. Oh my gosh, Tori Spelling, getting Tori Spelling on Beverly Hills.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, the only way I see Tori Spelling getting on is if like her mum dies and she inherits all her mum's money.
Did she leave it to her though?
That's the question. We don't know.
Watch Candy Spelling put it into a trust that Tori cannot.
I could see her doing something like that.
And only goes to the children because Candy was the one paying for the children's education and the living.
Yeah.
And their food. So she just took care of the grandkids, and Tori just.
But a big part of that, though, allegedly, was because Candy didn't like Dean, who's Candy's husband.
Or Tori's husband, yeah.
Oh yeah, Tori's husband. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I kind of see Dean as like the sperm donor because he's tall, he has the hair, the eyes, the look, the shoulders, and he's made pretty kids. Like
the problem, I do feel sorry for Tori, is she's basically was like one of these spoiled rich kids who was never given direction in life or never allowed to have like purpose. And this is why she's got into the position that she's in. Because she's never been on her own. She's never had to make it on her own. Because she's had someone always hold her hand.
She did do work though throughout the 90s, Curves. Remember some of her movies? Remember she was on Saved by the Bell? Oh my God, I love that.
But they were always backed by family. She never had to like raise that money herself to if you see what I'm saying.
Well, the legend is for her to get 90210, she hid that she was Tori Spelling's daughter.
Really?
I mean, she hid that she was
looks just like Aaron Spelling though.
But she did. The legend is they didn't know, and she got it on her own allegedly. That's what they said.
I struggle to believe that, but
She does look just like her daddy, who's
Look
right
mean,
just
there.
like
yeah,
him. And
I
she's been
struggle to
doing
believe
movies
that,
since
but
she
if
was a
that's a
kid.
thing, fine. I mean, you know, but okay.
For real,
I mean,
Freddie.
Well, you guys
For
have been
real.
excellent. I thank
Oh
you
my
for
God.
coming through and sharing your POVs on this hot topic about so okay, before you go, TikTok, time's up. Fair or nah? Freddie, fair or nah?
I think it's fair.
Right on. And you've stated very excellent reasons as to why. I hope the people were taking notes. AAE, fair or nah?
100% fair. Go the United States, go the UK. That's where I am.
Right on. And I'm saying 100% fair for a whole set of other reasons. So look at that.
We're all in agreement.
Oh, you guys.
The EU respects privacy. The UK respects privacy. The United States, privacy.
Yeah.
Even
I'm in
Canada,
California.
even American
we
Junior,
get
which is
our
Canada, privacy.
There's an extra box on every app that's allowed because California has even stricter privacy stuff over here.
California
So-
is super strict, Freddie. It's very comparable to GDPR, which you're used to in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So we have a
interesting.
little
where's
extra
China's
there.
privacy laws? China, where are your privacy laws? That's what, you know what, let's ask that question. When they give us an answer, then maybe, well, we're still taking TikTok. That's all I know.
The
We're
problem
still
is
gonna
it's
take
owned
it.
by the state, so the only people that really know what those laws are is the president of China. But they do this with anything. They never tell anyone anything. If you look at the COVID inquiries that were done in the United States and in the United Kingdom, but you know, we wanted to, both the UK and America wanted to go to China to investigate what COVID happens, and China were like, no, well, we respect that you've got an investigation, but we want to do the investigation for you, and we'll give you the results. And it's like, well, that's not really the UK or America doing an investigation if you're doing it.
Right.
And you know they'll fudge details.
Exactly.
You know they will. They'll fudge details. And when you ask them a question, they'll never give you a straight answer. And then you're bullying us. United States colonialism, United States imparting their ways on the world. Like, dude, get over it. China's entire economy is because Nixon opened the doors to Red China, thus allowing for them to, over the past 30 years, to lift itself out of poverty. Say a big thank you to the Western world and stop with your behavior.
Thank you.
The Western world has given China so many unbelievable chances. And on top of that, let's understand something. When it comes to ingenuity, where is Chinese ingenuity? There is none. It always comes from the Western world. Everything China is just like United States degraded. I'm sorry to say that, but where is anything new in this country? I know it's a great consumer, so I don't want to be harsh. I know they buy luxury. I know China loves luxury. I love luxury. Lord, do I love luxury. But you do not create ingenuity. Nobody's going to China for luxury.
That's why they all come to Europe. That's why they come to Europe. Summer in Europe to buy all their stuff in England.
Where is the Chinese equivalent to Burberry? Like, seriously, what is no one is going to China for Burberry. No, unless you want something unless you really, really, really want like the counterfeit. But everybody goes to we go to the EU to buy our luxury. That's where it is. Luxury is significantly in one particular continent. It is not China. So they really, the day after when China opened up, one of their stores, like 14 million in one day. Like, they just had to go buy luxury. I forgot which store, I forgot which luxury brand, but they spent one day 14 million US dollars. You only buy, you are a consumer. That's fantastic. Be a consumer.
Which is a lot, considering like in those big roads in like in Sloane Street in London, or like Oxford Street, where they've got like a few of those designer places and stuff, like just near Hyde Park. Like those shops, I mean, most of them make about 1.5, 2 million a week, or like at best, not 14 million in a day. That, I mean, that is incredible.
But remember, it's a European brand that they're spending 14 million on. I mean, that's their largest market. You're a consumer market. That's great.
Yeah.
And you love Western brands. We all do. But at the end of the day, you're not going to just data collect these children. You're not going to collect, mine, and God knows what you're doing with this data. One thing about
I think it's the ultimate plan is to influence those
that's
young
exactly what they're
people.
doing, Freddie. That's exactly what they're doing. And they do it to the young generation, Gen Alpha. They're doing it to them. No one's going to allow that. Like that.
Yeah, they're doing it because, you know, people like us, we've done school, we've done college, you know, we're in working jobs. It's a lot harder to influence someone when they are an adult, they're earning their own money, they have their own life. Whereas a child, it's a lot easier to get them to do that. So I agree. Yeah, it is a way to do the younger, the sort of the end of Gen Z and target Gen Alpha.
And also the
and that's
diversity.
interesting because when you target the children, usually you have to separate them from their parents in a very distinct, vicious type of way. Look at any indigenous culture, right? So the indoctrination usually comes after stripping. This is in your face and you're paying the bill.
And what they're doing is they're not making it obvious propaganda like Russia do, or someone like, you know,
very
Hamas
insidious, Freddie. It's very
they're very clever in the way they do it.
Trickery.
Yeah.
And they know that data is the new gold. They want the data from a diverse source, because the UK has a UK. The United States is incredibly diverse. The UK also means these Commonwealth countries. And that's one thing China, the issue with Africa, you can go in Africa all you want. Africa's not going to leave the Commonwealth. Like these, and I remember watching NPR a few years ago. One of the leaders in a French-speaking country, NPR reporter brought up, are you looking to maybe segue closer to China? That the African leader responded in French to make it clear, no. Like, this is just a money grab. No one's gonna like change the lingua, the official language, because most of these African countries, it's either French or English. They're not going to change this, and it's part of the culture to leave Europe and then just go to China. It's not going to happen. We can go back and forth and debate French colonialism, English colonialism, all we want. A lot of these African countries are part of the Commonwealth. A lot of these African countries are able to do whatever they want, but they still speak English for a host of reasons. And I mean, it's been like 100 years now. There are some similar cultural similarities. And everyone does what they want to do. China is they can keep going into Africa and these other countries, but you're not going to like disrupt like a freestanding culture that is the way it is. And I do believe that they're trying to, just my opinion is Curves, trying to infiltrate and move Africa and also the youth in the Western countries away from like Western ideals. Like there's some Western ideals that are good. Privacy is a good thing. Respect for the individual is a good thing. These are good things. Like, just like, there's some things that just, and also I'm going to bring up, yes, religion too, Christianity. I'm going to bring that up too. There's just some differences that China's just not going to understand that the rest of the Western world and the Commonwealth nations are going to get. And remember, the Americas is all the United States, from the tip of Argentina all the way to Canada. Canada's America Junior. And Canada, again, is still under the British crown. And that's the Western world. China just needs to chill. And also China, the largest in the Chinese diaspora is in Canada, by the way. You know, Freddie, the woman, Huawei, the daughter, she got arrested in Canada and she's under house arrest. You know that.
Oh, I didn't know that. How
yes,
come?
She is. You know why. You know why, Freddie. I don't want to keep you on too long, but you know why. You know what they were doing.
I reckon she's an asset.
What were they doing? Put it in the private chat. I want to know. I want to know what they
I
were
think
doing.
she's an asset.
Thank you, Freddie. Asset. There we go. And what does that mean, Curves? In Canada, of all places, and you got arrested, and now she's under house arrest. She's about to.
But like this has happened in like England, like with the Russians and Chinese people that are like really rich people, but have been arrested because of suspicions that they're an asset for their dictatorships in their countries.
Oh, see there.
And they
Like, and particularly the US and the UK are just not going to stand for that.
No.
And our intelligence, you know, you've got the
and U.S.
FBI and stuff. We've got MI6 and stuff. We're on this on a daily basis. You know, they're not going to let it slide.
The United States and the UK and the EU are just super duper close allies forever and ever.
Yeah,
like.
And they share all their sort of their intel.
They have a private line, Curves. They have a private line. Everybody is like TikTok. They kind of really thinks it's slick. Yo, you're not. Like, I mean, stop. Like, get it together. You should have sold. You had Trump. You thought you were going to be slick. Biden and Trump. At the end of the day, this is the United States. We can go back and forth all we want. Like even Freddie. I mean, you're here in the UK. I'm a teacher. Well, you know how he describes like Democrats and Republicans. He's a British dude. He said Liberal Party A, Liberal Party B. Curves in the UK, they don't really see a difference between our parties, political parties.
Oh, look, I'm here, and I always say two cheeks of the same ass.
Yes, it's all liberalism. We go Democrat, Republican. It means nothing. All liberalism, freedom, freedom of information, privacy, the free flow of data, free flow of information. That is the standard, the heart of liberalism. There are ideals within the Western world that we take for granted. China does not care. So I'm not about to sit here and let this country start philandering in these kids we have, these little ones. And you start creating dissent and derision. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Better sell. Get your money and go. Yeah. Freddie, you gotta go to bed. I will keep you.
Yeah, but I'll speak to you both soon. Thank you so much.
Right on, Freddie.
Thanks on the live.
Everybody check up Reality Diamond. And we love his POV. Thanks for coming, Freddie.
Speak to you
and
soon.
Thanks for coming, AAE. I appreciate you as always.
You are the best voice twin. And I may be coming to Cali. Let me get this privacy position. They're already on it.
Oh, see there? Look,
they're already
happening. And when things are happening behind the scenes, it's only a matter before we get to see it. So
they move quick. I think Biden's probably been planning this. It was probably on the agenda when Trump left.
Yeah.
Like there's something going on. Kind of what Freddie was touching on, what he said, the UK, the EU, and the United States, these agencies share data. Like there is
all the time. Yeah.
There's something going on in China that we don't know, that the United States knows, and that these administrations are going to shut down. That's why
there's something going on.
We don't know the full details, but the fact that Trump and Biden are so interlocked with this, there's something going on, Curve.
Yeah.
The United States has to put its foot down, and it's for the better. Right? We argue amongst each other. We have our beef, Biden, Trump. At the end of the day, the United States is about the United States and the country, the protection of this country. We had the United States military. The United States Army is the peacekeeping force in the world.
And plus, one thing I like also about this is if it is going to go away, then they're giving people 9 months to transition to other platforms. So hopefully people can make their money that way as far as the entrepreneurship here in the United States and just prepare themselves. I'm glad about that because sometimes you can make those numbers translate to other platforms easily. And so people are going to have a chance to start working on that. You know what I mean?
I actually know what you mean, Jelly Bean.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I'm going to go. I got
to go too. We'll talk later. Talk more.
Okay. Right on.
Love you guys.
Right on. Thanks for coming. Bye. Okay, Curvies. We're C2K over here. Curvies 2000. We just made 2,000 subs. Thanks for coming, everybody. And I love you guys. This has been a very good, robust conversation. Thanks to my internationals for popping on the scene. Do you know what I mean? Yes, I do. And you know what? Like I always say, there is enough to go around. So go